Commander Sam Wright stood at the viewport of the Horizon watching the stars. The year was 2157, and humanity had spread beyond Earth to Mars and the moons of Jupiter. As the leader of this diplomatic mission to the edge of our solar system, Sam felt the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. "Commander, we're picking up unusual signals," said Jack Simmons, the communications officer. His voice was steady, but Sam noted the hint of excitement. "Source?" Sam asked, already moving toward the command console. "Unknown, sir. Nothing like our ships or the automated probes. It's alien." The bridge fell silent. After decades of searching the stars, humanity had wondered if they were alone. Now they had their answer. "Alert Earth Defense Command. All stations on standby," Sam ordered. "Let's not assume anything yet." Within hours, the source of the signals appeared. 3 ships, each larger than anything humans had built, emerged from what looked like tears in space itself. Their hulls gleamed with a blue-green metal unknown to Earth science. "They're hailing us, sir," Jack said. Sam straightened his uniform. "Put them through." The screen filled with the image of a being with smooth gray skin, large black eyes, and a small mouth. "Greetings, humans of Earth. We are the Therian Confederation, an alliance of 23 species across this galactic arm. We have been observing your development." First contact proceeded better than anyone had dared hope. The Therians seemed peaceful, offering knowledge and the possibility of trade. They requested meetings with human leaders, scientists, and military officials. Earth's governments quickly agreed. But Lily Carter, the ship's science officer, wasn't convinced. "Their energy readings don't match what they claim their technology does," she told Sam in private. "They're hiding something." Sam trusted Lily. They had served together for 8 years. "Keep monitoring. Document everything." 3 days later, Jack Simmons requested an urgent meeting. "I've been analyzing their transmissions," he said, showing Sam his datapad. "Most are encrypted, but I caught fragments between their ships. They're calling us primitives and potential assets. There's mention of genetic viability and harvesting potential." Sam's face darkened. "Send this to Earth immediately. Secure channel." Before Earth could respond, the Therian delegation announced they were withdrawing from talks, citing cultural differences. Their ships disappeared the same way they had arrived, through tears in space. Sam sent warnings to all human outposts. Something wasn't right. 2 weeks passed. The Horizon was ordered to return to Earth for debriefing. They were halfway home when the emergency signal blared through the ship. 3 research outposts on Europa have gone silent, reported the second officer. Last transmission mentioned unidentified ships approaching. Sam ordered maximum speed back to Earth. "Send everything we have on the Therians to all military commands." This isn't a coincidence. By the time they reached Earth orbit, the news was confirmed. The Europa outposts had been attacked. Surveillance footage showed Therian ships destroying the facilities and taking human survivors aboard their vessels. In the emergency meeting at Earth Defense Command, Sam presented the intercepted communications. "They were never interested in peace," he told the gathered officials. "They were assessing us as a resource." "What do they want?" asked the defense secretary. "Based on their communications, they're interested in our genetics," Sam explained. "Humans adapt faster than any species they've encountered. That makes us valuable." As the meeting continued, more reports arrived. The Therians had returned in force. They were attacking the outer colonies and had sent a message to Earth. Humanity will surrender all advanced technology and accept protected species status under Therian guidance. Resistance will result in harvesting operations continuing by force. Sam looked around the room at the shocked faces of Earth's leaders. "They've crossed a line," he said quietly, "and they have no idea what that means when dealing with humans." Director Olivia Martinez had not slept in 3 days. The attacks on the Europa outposts were only the beginning. Reports of Therian assaults flowed in from across the solar system. She stared at the holographic display showing the status of human colonies, watching as more turned from green to red. "Another mining station gone silent," said her assistant. "That's the 5th today." Olivia nodded grimly. "How many people lost?" "About 300. But unlike the others, we have survivors. The Therians took most of the staff alive." The pattern was becoming clear. The aliens weren't just destroying human facilities. They were taking prisoners. Thousands of human scientists, engineers, and civilians had been captured. In the emergency command center beneath Denver, Earth's military and political leaders gathered to assess the growing crisis. "They've destroyed our outer defenses with minimal effort," said General Peters, pointing to the tactical display. "Their weapons technology is at least a century ahead of ours." Lieutenant Ryan Nelson stood up. His eyes were red from crying. "My wife and daughter were stationed on Europa Research Station 4. His voice cracked. "We can't just talk while they take our people." Olivia understood his pain. "We're not giving up, Lieutenant, but we need a plan that won't get everyone killed." A communications officer interrupted. "Director, we're receiving a transmission from the Therian command ship. They're broadcasting on all frequencies." The main screen lit up with the now familiar gray face of the Therian leader. "People of Earth, your species has shown remarkable adaptability and genetic resilience. These traits make you valuable to the Confederation. Submit to protected status now, and we will ensure your species survives under our guidance. Resist, and we will take what we need by force. You have 24 hours to surrender all military assets." The room erupted in angry shouts. "They see us as resources, not people," Olivia said, silencing the room. "We need to understand what they're really after." Dr. Kevin Wallace, the leading xenobiologist, stepped forward. "I've been analyzing the data from our brief contact and subsequent attacks. The Therians appear to be harvesting human genetic material for experimentation." He displayed images captured from the Europa surveillance systems before they went dark. The footage showed humans being sorted into groups, with some taken to laboratory-like facilities on the Therian ships. "Based on what we know of their biology, the Therian species is ancient, millions of years old. But they've become genetically stagnant. They can't adapt to new environments or challenges without extensive technological help. And humans are known for our adaptability." Olivia finished the thought. "Exactly. They don't want to destroy us. They want to harvest the genetic traits that let us adapt so quickly. It's likely they're planning to incorporate these traits into their own genome." The implications sank in around the room. The Therians didn't see humans as equals to negotiate with. They saw them as a genetic resource to be harvested. Before they could discuss further, another alert sounded. "Therian forces are attacking the Mars colony of New Hope," reported the tactical officer. "Population 40,000. They watched in horror as the defense systems around Mars' largest settlement failed within minutes. The Therian ships methodically destroyed military targets, then began landing troops." "They're not waiting for our answer," Ryan said, his fists clenched. Reports streamed in of house-to-house fighting. Despite being outmatched, the colonial defense forces and even civilians fought back with everything from military weapons to mining tools. "New Hope has fallen," came the report 6 hours later. "Estimated casualties, 15,000. The rest have been taken prisoner." Olivia looked around the room at the stunned faces. "They've crossed the line," she said, echoing Commander Wright's earlier words. "It's time we show them what happens when humanity is backed into a corner." She turned to General Peters. "Activate the dormant defense projects. All of them." "Even Project Nemesis?" he asked quietly. "Especially that one," she replied. "The Therians think they know what humans are capable of. They're about to learn how wrong they are." Black armbands appeared on every sleeve across Earth and the remaining colonies. The attack on New Hope had united humanity in a way nothing ever had before. Old enemies became allies. Resources flowed freely between nations. A single purpose drove every human: survival. Admiral Frank Harris hadn't worn his uniform in 10 years. At 72, he had hoped to spend his remaining years fishing at his cabin in Montana. Now he stood before the newly formed United Defense Council, his old uniform tight across his shoulders. "I'm too old for this," he told Olivia Martinez. "There are younger, sharper minds who should lead." "What we need isn't youth," she replied. "It's someone who understands that when fighting for survival, there are no rules." Frank nodded grimly. He had made hard choices in the border wars, choices that had saved lives but cost him sleep for decades. "The Therians expect us to fight conventionally or surrender," he told the council in his first address. "We'll do neither. Humanity doesn't follow the expected path. That's why they want our genetics. That's why they'll fear us by the time this is done." Under Frank's direction, Earth's industrial capacity shifted entirely to war production. Factories that once made cars now produced armored vehicles. Shipyards worked around the clock building vessels based on new designs. Chief Engineer Amy Rogers led the team working on Project Nemesis in a hidden facility beneath the Pacific Ocean. The technology was deemed too dangerous for peacetime use, she explained, showing Frank the experimental weapons systems. "These disruption fields can shut down any energy system within range, even Therian ships." "Any side effects?" Frank asked. Amy looked uncomfortable. "They're not selective. They'll shut down our systems too. Whoever uses them will be sacrificing themselves." Frank stared at the devices. "Make them work. But keep looking for alternatives. I won't throw away lives if there's another option." While Earth prepared, the Therians continued their systematic harvesting of outer colonies. Their advanced ships and weapons gave them overwhelming advantages in direct battles. But they made a critical mistake. They assumed humans would fight like the other species they had conquered. They were wrong. Captain Greg Miller commanded the Valiant Asterisk, a small patrol ship that had escaped the initial attacks. Instead of retreating to Earth, he gathered survivors and created the first resistance cell. "We can't match their firepower," he told his crew of 30. "So we won't try. We'll be ghosts." Using knowledge of the asteroid belts, Greg's team modified their ship to hide among the space rocks. They began striking at Therian supply lines, using mining explosives to devastating effect. When the Therians sent ships to hunt them down, the humans vanished, only to appear elsewhere days later. The aliens had expected either submission or conventional warfare. Human guerrilla tactics confused them. Similar resistance groups formed across the solar system. Miners, colonists, and stranded military personnel came together, sharing information through coded bursts of tight beam communications. 6 weeks after the fall of New Hope, humanity scored its first real victory. A Therian prison transport carrying 300 human captives was moving through the Saturn sector when it encountered what appeared to be a disabled mining vessel. The aliens approached to investigate, following standard procedure. They didn't detect the 20 human fighters hidden in the surrounding debris field until it was too late. Greg's team disabled the transport's engines and freed the prisoners. Among them were top scientists who carried valuable intelligence about Therian technology. News of the victory spread through hidden human networks. Small as it was, it proved the aliens could be hurt. More importantly, it showed that humanity wouldn't simply accept defeat. In his command center on Earth, Frank Harris received the report with a grim smile. "Send word to Captain Miller. Well done. Then get those scientists to Amy's team immediately." Olivia Martinez watched the old admiral's face. "This is just the beginning, isn't it?" Frank nodded. "The Therians crossed the line thinking we would break. Now they'll learn what humans do when backed into a corner. We evolve, we adapt, and then we strike back." 6 months into the war, humanity remained on the defensive, but they were learning quickly. Each encounter with Therian forces provided new information. Each captured piece of alien technology offered new possibilities. Dr. Lisa Johnson led the reverse engineering team working out of a hidden base beneath the Antarctic ice. Her lab tables were covered with Therian devices salvaged from battlefields across the solar system. Their tech is advanced, she told Admiral Harris during his inspection, but not magical. The principles are similar to ours, just refined over thousands more years of development. She held up what looked like a small metal cube. This powers their personal shields. We've figured out how it works and already started making our own version. Frank nodded approvingly. How soon until production? 2 weeks for the first batch. Enough to equip Special Forces teams. Make it 1 week, Frank said. We're activating the wildfire protocol. Lisa's eyes widened. Wildfire meant bringing online all dormant military research projects, including those deemed too experimental or dangerous for regular use. Yes, sir, she said. While scientists worked, Lieutenant Ryan Nelson, still grieving his family, volunteered for the most dangerous missions. His understanding of Therian behavior had helped predict their movements several times. Now he led a critical rescue operation. Intelligence had identified a Therian research vessel holding human prisoners. Ryan's team of 12 soldiers equipped with stolen Therian cloaking devices approached in a modified mining craft. Remember, Ryan told his team, we move quick and quiet. These aliens don't expect humans to board their ships. Use that surprise. They cut through the hull and entered the vessel undetected. Moving through the corridors, they located the prison section. The sight inside turned their stomachs. Hundreds of humans in clear cells, many with medical equipment attached to them. They're conducting experiments, whispered the team medic. Ryan fought down his rage. Stick to the plan. Free everyone who can move. Place charges on the research equipment. The team worked methodically, disabling guards with silent weapons and releasing prisoners. When alarms finally sounded, they were already moving toward extraction with over 200 rescued humans. We've got company, said Ryan's second-in-command as Therian security forces appeared ahead. The fight was brief but intense. The humans, using stolen Therian weapons, surprised the aliens with their ferocity. 7 minutes later, Ryan's team was back aboard their ship, breaking away from the research vessel as explosions rippled through its laboratories. The rescued prisoners provided crucial intelligence. They had overheard the Therians discussing fleet movements and had observed weaknesses in Therian biology. Their immune systems are fragile, reported one rescued doctor. They're terrified of contamination from us. That's why they wear those suits when handling human subjects. This information reached Earth just as another breakthrough occurred. The quantum computing network that linked Earth's defenses had been working to crack Therian communication codes. After months of effort, they succeeded. We can hear everything they say to each other, Olivia Martinez told the Defense Council. And they have no idea. The timing couldn't have been better. Intercepted communications revealed the Therians were sending their main fleet to Sol. Over 300 ships with a single mission: end the human problem once and for all. They're coming for Earth, Frank told his commanders, but they'll have to pass Saturn to get here. Commander Sam Wright, now leading Earth's forward defense fleet, received new orders. He smiled as he read them. Set course for Saturn, he told his bridge crew, and contact all resistance cells in the sector. We're setting a trap. The Battle of Saturn's Rings was about to begin. The Therians, expecting to find a scattered, desperate defense, were sailing into an elaborate ambush. For the first time since the war began, humans would dictate the terms of engagement. As Sam's ships moved into position in the ice and dust of Saturn's rings, he thought of that first contact with the Therians. How naive they had all been. They crossed the line, he muttered. Now they'll see what humanity can really do. The Battle of Saturn's Rings changed everything. Commander Sam Wright's trap had worked perfectly. The Therian ships, confident in their superior technology, had followed standard attack formations as they approached Earth. They never expected the mines hidden in Saturn's rings or the modified human ships lurking behind the larger moons. The battle lasted 14 hours. When it ended, over 60 Therian vessels had been destroyed and dozens more damaged. The aliens retreated in disarray, leaving behind wreckage and prisoners. 1 year into the war, Humanity had proven they would not be easily defeated. But Admiral Harris knew they needed more than defensive victories. "We need to strike at them directly," he told the Defense Council. "Take the fight to their territory." In her laboratory, Dr. Kevin Wallace worked alongside engineer Amy Rogers on a project that might make that possible. They called it the Darwin Engine. "The Therians want our adaptability," Kevin explained to Olivia Martinez during an inspection. "But that same quality makes us dangerous to them." He pointed to a screen showing alien genetic structures. "Their biology is remarkably stable. It's why they've survived millions of years without much change. But it makes them vulnerable to targeted disruption." Amy stepped forward. "The Darwin Engine exploits that vulnerability. It emits a field that triggers rapid mutations in their cellular structure. It won't kill them, but it will disable their ships and troops temporarily." Olivia frowned. "You've created a genetic weapon." "A non-lethal one," Kevin emphasized. "It causes temporary symptoms, confusion, muscle weakness, sensory disruption. Enough to incapacitate without permanent harm." "Can it affect humans?" Amy shook her head. "That's the beauty of it. Our genetics are naturally variable enough that the effect is minimal on humans." As the Darwin Engine entered testing, the war took an unexpected turn. 3 Therian ships arrived at the edge of the solar system carrying peace envoys. They offered to return all prisoners and recognize human sovereignty in exchange for an end to hostilities. Some on the council wanted to accept. The war had cost nearly 1 million human lives already. But intelligence officer Patricia Clark wasn't convinced. "Something isn't right," she told Admiral Harris. "Their communications don't match their offer." Patricia had been monitoring Therian transmissions since the codes were cracked. "They're sending messages to the far side of their territory, calling for reinforcements. This peace offer is just buying time." Frank brought this information to the council. "If we accept their terms now, they'll return with an even larger force once their reinforcements arrive." The council voted unanimously to decline the offer but pretend negotiations were ongoing. Meanwhile, they authorized Operation Grim Resolve, humanity's first major push into Therian space. Captain Greg Miller, whose guerrilla tactics had proven so effective, was chosen to lead a critical part of the operation. His ship, now named Revenant Asterisk, had been upgraded with reverse-engineered Therian technology. "Your team will deploy these throughout Therian territory," Frank told him, showing him small devices that looked like metal spheres. "They're quantum beacons. Once activated, they'll let us track all Therian fleet movements." Greg nodded. "We'll need to get deep into their space, past their defensive lines." "That's why we chose you," Frank said simply. While the military prepared their offensive, something unexpected happened on the conquered human colonies. A network of resistance formed among the surviving humans, led by Commander Diane Foster, who had been presumed dead during the fall of the Mars colonies. These groups began coordinated sabotage of Therian operations. Reports reached the Therian leadership of growing problems across their newly claimed territories. Equipment failures, missing supplies, and communication disruptions increased daily. Human prisoners, once thought properly subdued, were showing surprising resilience. In their central command center, the Therian War Council reviewed these reports with growing concern. "These humans," said the Supreme Commander, "they don't respond like other species. The more pressure we apply, the stronger they become." "Perhaps," suggested another, "we have made a miscalculation in our approach to this species." Outside the window of their command center, a small maintenance ship drifted by. Inside, Greg Miller smiled as he activated the first quantum beacon. 18 months into the war, the tide had turned. Captain Greg Miller's quantum beacons gave humanity complete knowledge of Therian fleet movements. Human forces, now equipped with hybrid technology combining Earth ingenuity with stolen Therian advances, launched attacks on multiple fronts. The Darwin Engine proved its worth in the first major offensive. Human ships approached a Therian military base on one of Jupiter's formerly human-occupied moons. When the Therian vessels moved to intercept, The humans activated the engine. The effect was immediate. The alien ships drifted, their crews temporarily incapacitated. Human boarding parties captured 5 vessels intact and downloaded their computer systems. Ryan Nelson, now promoted to captain after his successful rescue missions, led the liberation of Europa. His personal mission to find what happened to his family drove him forward. The fighting was house to house, tunnel to tunnel through the underground colonies. "They've converted the main science center into some kind of laboratory," reported his scout team. Ryan's face hardened. "That's where we go first." What they found inside shocked even veteran soldiers. The Therians had been conducting extensive experiments on human subjects. Test tubes containing human genetic material lined the walls. Notes and records detailed countless procedures. "Download everything," Ryan ordered his tech team. "Earth needs to see what they've been doing." Among the records, Ryan found files about his wife and daughter. They had been among the first test subjects. They had not survived the procedures. He stood silently at the terminal, reading the clinical descriptions of their deaths. His second-in-command approached cautiously. "Sir, the last Therian forces are retreating. Europa is secure." Ryan nodded, his face a mask of controlled grief and rage. "Make sure this evidence reaches Earth. Every human needs to see what they did here." The discovery of the Therian laboratories galvanized human resolve. The aliens had crossed more than a line. They had committed atrocities. Any debate about the ethics of using the Darwin engine ended. The weapon was deployed against all military targets. On Earth, Dr. Lisa Johnson's team created something equally important: a vaccine protecting humans from Therian biological weapons. With the quantum beacons revealing Therian communications, they had discovered plans to release engineered viruses against Earth's population. "They're getting desperate," Admiral Harris told Olivia Martinez as they reviewed the latest intelligence. "Their usual tactics aren't working against us." "That makes them more dangerous," she replied. "Cornered enemies make extreme choices." Her words proved prophetic. Intercepted communications revealed a split in Therian leadership. One faction advocated for genuine peace talks, arguing that humans had proven too costly to subdue. The other faction pushed for complete human extinction. The extremist faction won the debate. They launched a desperate gambit: planet-killer weapons aimed at Earth. These massive missiles contained enough destructive power to render the planet uninhabitable. Commander Sam Wright, whose trap at Saturn had changed the course of the war, received the emergency alert while patrolling near Neptune. His fleet was the only force positioned to intercept the weapons. "All ships, new course," he ordered. "Maximum burn toward the inner system. We need to intercept those weapons before they reach Earth's gravity well." His science officer looked grim. "Sir, even if we intercept them, the detonation will destroy our fleet." Sam nodded. "I know. Send a message to Earth. Tell Admiral Harris. Tell him it's been an honor." The Horizon and its accompanying ships pushed their engines beyond safety limits. The crews knew what awaited them. Not one requested to abandon ship. They intercepted the planet killers just beyond Mars' orbit. Using the now perfected Therian weapons they had reverse-engineered, they targeted the missiles with precision strikes. One by one, the deadly weapons detonated in space, far enough from Earth to spare the planet. The final explosion engulfed the Horizon. Communications cut off mid-transmission. The ship and all hands were lost. In the command center on Earth, a moment of silence fell as the light representing the Horizon vanished from the tactical display. Admiral Harris stood slowly. "They saved Earth," he said quietly. "Now we finish this, for Sam and his crew. For all of them." The loss of the Horizon and Commander Sam Wright became a rallying cry for humanity. Memorial services were held across Earth and the liberated colonies, but there was no time for extended mourning. The Therians had shown their desperation, and Admiral Harris knew they needed to end this war before more extreme measures were taken. "We push to their homeworld," he told the Defense Council, not for revenge, but to force a final resolution. The combined human fleet, now armed with all the technology they had developed or stolen over 2 years of war, gathered near the edge of the solar system. Nearly 300 ships, from massive carriers to small, fast attack craft, prepared for the final offensive. Before they departed, Admiral Harris issued what would become known as the Right Doctrine, named in honor of the fallen commander. "We are not seeking vengeance," he told the assembled captains. "We fight to ensure humanity will never again be vulnerable. We fight so that no species will make the mistake the Therians made. We are not conquerors. We are not destroyers, but we will be respected." The human fleet moved into Therian space like a storm. The quantum beacons that Captain Miller had planted allowed them to avoid the main defense forces and strike directly at key positions. The Darwin engine disabled Therian ships without killing their crews. At each conquered position, the humans broadcast the same message: "We do not wish to destroy you. We offer terms for peace, but we will not stop until those terms are accepted." The terms were simple. The Therian Confederation must disarm its most powerful weapons, make reparations for the human lives lost, and submit to oversight to ensure they never again attacked another species. On the Therian homeworld, the Leadership Council faced a growing crisis. The extremist faction that had ordered the Planet Killer attack insisted on fighting to the last. But the moderate faction saw the writing on the wall. Humans had proven themselves not just adaptable, but unstoppable when threatened. As the human fleet approached the homeworld, the moderate faction staged a coup. The extremist leaders were removed from power, and a message was sent to Admiral Harris. They were ready to discuss terms. The peace negotiations began on a neutral space station at the edge of Therian territory. Olivia Martinez, who had begun the war as defense director, now led the human delegation as ambassador. "We do not seek your destruction," she told the Therian representatives, "but we will never again allow ourselves to be seen as prey." The negotiations lasted weeks, but eventually, a peace treaty was signed. The Therian Confederation acknowledged their crimes against humanity and agreed to all terms. In the aftermath, Captain Ryan Nelson established the first permanent human military base in Therian space. It was named Wright Station, in honor of the commander who had given his life to save Earth. The station would serve as both a memorial and a reminder of the consequences of crossing humanity's boundaries. Dr. Kevin Wallace, whose work on the Darwin engine had helped turn the tide of war, now led a different kind of project. Working alongside Therian scientists who had opposed the war, he began searching for ways to heal the genetic damage caused by the conflict. "Our strength was our adaptability," he told his mixed team of human and Therian researchers. "Now let's show that we can adapt to peace as well as we adapted to war." 5 years after first contact, a memorial was unveiled on Mars, at the site of the New Hope colony where thousands had died. It was a simple stone pillar with words carved in both human and Therian languages. They crossed the line and learned why humanity's boundaries should be respected. In orbit above the Therian homeworld, Ambassador Martinez looked out the window of her ship at the planet below. So much had been lost on both sides. So many lives changed forever. But a new order had emerged in this part of the galaxy. Other alien species who had observed the conflict now approached humans with caution and respect. Not because humans had proven peaceful or accommodating, but because the galaxy had learned what happens when humanity is pushed too far.